Greetings, this is Tya Bolton, International Business and Event Strategist, and I am excited to be one of the 2020 Visionaries. We're six heart centered thought leaders and influencers based in the greater Charlotte area, inspired to deliver our pandemic perspectives to help you keep it together while we're in this together, experiencing it differently. Today, I'll be talking to fellow visionary Sporty King.
One. All right. As we continue our series of pandemic perspectives interviews, Sporty, how do you envision people adjusting to this new normal?
It's funny. Let me set this up by talking about my favorite book, and that is the Bible. And in the Bible, and I don't necessarily read it for religious aspect as much as for the inspirational stories. Think about it. Aren't we inspired by people who are disabled athletes and people who have a disability and they push themselves on? That's what I find in the Bible a lot. And so two of my favorite heroes in the Bible that are connecting for me right now are Joseph and Esther.
Okay.
Now, for those who don't know, Joseph is the one who his brother sold him into slavery, and he's in the book of Genesis, and he says, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. And then Esther has her own book, the book of Esther, and the line that many people have probably heard, perhaps God has put you in this spot for such a time as this. So that's what I'm seeing right now. That's where I am spiritually, and I'm seeing it in people where the people are starting to see, wait a minute, I've had these systems in place. Now I know better how to use them. Now I need to do this. And then, some of the humor, I saw a cartoon that showed the devil and God looking over the world. And the devil said, with the COVID-19, I shut your churches down. And then God said, yeah, in fact, you know what? I just opened a new one in another home. And so, so that's for me, like I say, the adjustment, and that's really just setting up where I'm going with this, is that I'm excited that that people are becoming more aware of our connectivity around the world, and now how we can all support one another in fighting it.
I love that setup, Sporty. You just reminded me of so many things that we've spoken about before. We've talked about the importance of spiritual elevation in this time. And I love that you referenced the Bible and the characters. That is something that is totally relatable for most people. And I wanted to just know from you, like, how are you experiencing this in the markets that you work in? Tell us a little bit more about who you serve and how what you just said applies to them.
Well, yeah, God, I'm in like three great organizations right now that are on the forefront in terms of our mentality. The number one would being the National Speakers Association. And so as professional speakers who are out there, when you think about it, we've always been talking about any speaker. Even if you're not an NSA, when you go to a graduation day, a career day, you're talking about change. Mm-hmm. You're talking about self-esteem. Mm-hmm. You're talking about vision. And so right now, what we're doing heavily is really tuning up our skills in terms of delivering webinars. And so that, we've got a lot more information going out there and how we can help one another, where we can have two speakers on a webinar where one is the host and the other is the speaker. So that's one of the things that we're doing to tune up. And because the market I was primarily serving before this hit is the military market for families going through the deployment cycle. Well, right now we haven't really put that together because those were seminars where I may have audience of 300 to 600 people or so getting ready to deploy or coming back from deployment. Well, we're not doing that right now, so we're going to figure that one out. Mm-hmm. So that's one of them. Then there's other one, just to quickly give you the other two, is the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. And so, we talk about how important it is to have the uplifted spirit and some of the jokes right now. And so we have what's called a Humor Academy, and we're trying to help people intentionally see how they can use healthy humor toward the betterment of mankind. And lastly, the American Institute of Stress. And I saved that for last because that's kind of obvious in the title.
That's interesting, Sporty. So I love it. Certainly, you're very connected to a lot of global organizations. And I love that you talked about the spirit of collaboration and helping one another. So are you seeing that that is becoming part of the new normal? People just pulling together and really figuring out, how do I help my colleague get through this period?
Absolutely. And one of those is, one of the things I always say is, control your vocabulary. Don't allow your vocabulary to control you. And so what's going on also is a lot of reframing. And one of the things that I've reframed is that instead of saying it's the new normal, I call it the now normal.
Yes.
Because, you know, again, through my military audiences, see, the civilian world is now hearing the term new normal, but I've been on this contract for 10 years. And so I've been hearing the term new normal in terms of people who are coming back from deployment. I've been hearing this for 10 years. And the one thing I always reminded them is that you're not coming home to the way, you're not coming back to the way things were. You're coming home to the way things are going to be. That's with right. New tools. And that new tool is your life experience. So the new normal isn't coming, it's here. Right. So now we can call it the now normal. Here's now our normal course of action. You know, now homeschooling is not such an anomaly. You know, now respecting the postal workers, the supermarket workers, the home care workers. Now suddenly that's not abnormal. So, you know, so we're making, everybody is, you're making the adjustment whether you're conscious of it or not. If you can get conscious of it, you can see just how much of a blessing you are, and that will make you bless somebody else.
I love that, Sporty. You know, we've talked about looking at your network, not so much as what people can give to you, but what you give to other people. And I would like for you to just expand a little bit about what you are giving to your community in this period right now.
Well, one of the things that I do, I do a Facebook Live broadcast that I had been doing actually for going on, I think 2 or 3 years now. I do it on Wednesday. And I called it Glue Wednesday because, you know, the cliche, everybody say Wednesday is hump day. And so, again, I said, well, first of all, everybody's Wednesday is not the middle of their work week, which is where the hump day thing pretty much comes from. And I always say that Wednesday is actually the middle of a traditional 7-day calendar week, regardless of what you're doing, relating it to work or not. And so it takes the weekend and the week beginning and it brings it together. So Wednesday is the glue. And even as you look at Wednesday as the glue, it puts you into prayerful mode. And so my glue is G-L-U-E, God's love undoes everything. Not that it tears it apart, but that it brings things together. Again, I set that up to say what I'm now doing is, instead of doing that strictly on Wednesdays to uplift people, I do it on Facebook Live, and I now do it on Monday and Friday as well. So now I'm broadcasting that 3 days a week, and then I turn it into a YouTube and share it on LinkedIn as well. You know, so it's getting the message out, and meanwhile, while I'm doing it, as I'm inspiring people on it, I've turned it into an interactive exercise where I ask people to put, like I'll do right now I'm doing what I call the GAS series, and it's GAS, the Glue Alphabet series. And with each broadcast, I focus on a different letter of the alphabet. So so say today I'm focusing on the letter G. Well, my next broadcast is going to be on the letter H. So I tell people, put words in the thread that begin with the letter H that you would want to hear about in the next broadcast.
I love it.
So now what I'm telling them, what they're doing for me there is they're creating a word bank for me. They're giving me words that I want to get into the topic. This is something you can do whether you're creating a speech, a poem, a resume, a proposal. You get the words that you want to have, the most important words that you, just like it's called an SEO, you know, You get the words that your key words in there, and now you start writing. So in the process of my doing that with them, I'm showing them, because now I call them the co-authors of the message. Now they practice it, and now their literacy skills can go up, their creativity can go up, and then their confidence will go up along with it. Wow, I was a part of the message, and this is what I contributed to it. Once people see what they contribute, now it goes to my membership with the American Institute of Stress. You get that shot of dopamine that excites you about how you have just been a contributor, and now that spurs you on to wanting to do more.
That's beautiful, Sporty. I love that you're co-creating with your network. And I would like to know, first, I love that you're building them up and allowing them to help you inspire the next session. What are some of the things that they're coping with or dealing with right now?
A lot. I think that a lot of people are dealing with the noise. They're hearing what someone else is telling them they feel. Like, suddenly, because it's such a big joke, oh yeah, now you're home trapped with the kids. And so some people have taken that on. Oh yes, I'm stuck with the kids. How about reframing it? I'm not stuck with the kids, I'm safe with the kids. How about I'm not bored at home, I'm on board at home. I'm on board with the new way that I have to live. See, we're listening to someone else's message. I gotta tell you, I called one of my mothers, one of my friend, his mother's one of my mothers. And she's older and, not as mobile as she used to be. So I called her, I said, how you doing? Oh, well, I'm just stuck in the house. I said, time out. Where were you going 3 months ago?
Wow.
And and she just said, yeah, she's using someone else's narrative, and she has self-imposed it. I'm now stuck. I can't go anywhere. But you never were going anywhere. You had to stay home to make sure you took your medication. We had home attendants coming in for you. So, so that's the thing is that, as I'm speaking to people, I'm saying to them, get in touch with you. Get in touch with yourself. What are you really dealing with? And so it goes to how important it is that we have to block out some of the news. One of the great things that I heard my pastor, Stephen Furtick, say, he said, I don't watch the news, I keep up with the news. And so, so you want to be aware of what's going on, but you don't have to watch the news every day and just sit there and really pay attention and absorb all that negativity and then spread it out to the people around you.
Well, energy is everything. We know that to be true, right? So what you surround yourself with will surely grow and vibrate at a much higher frequency.
I say what you focus on, you ferment.
That's it. I might have to use that one, Sporty.
Nolan.
Wow, I like it. Say it again. Say it again.
Reframe.
Say it again for me.
What you focus on, you ferment.
Wow. So, I just want to speak to this gift. You are the master of listening. And as much you can tell that you do this well because of the words that you share back out in the community. And I just want to talk a little bit about negative self-talk, because you've hit on that a few times in all the different things that you've spoken about today. We talk about the spirit of calmness. We talk about the conditions that people are kind of putting themselves in and using other people's language. Let people know what negative self-talk is and give them some insight on how to combat that when it does happen.
Yeah, the negative self-talk is almost a reflex. Have you ever said to yourself, stupid me? That's negative self-talk, as small as that can be, but it's something that we will say as a reflex when we, oh, stupid me. Oh, I can't believe I did that. And, and here's what I say to you. But it goes further than that. It's when you don't like the outfit that you're wearing. It's when you decide, oh, someone else has it better off than you do. And, I want to be like them, and instead of I want to be like me. All of that comes in there, but here's how you can combat that. I call it finishing the sentence. You're going to say stupid me, but now instead of putting a period after the word me, add 2 more dots. When you add 2 dots to the period, you create the ellipsis. And the ellipsis means to be continued. There's more to this than what we've shown you. So let's continue. Let's finish the sentence. Stupid me, but it's not the stupidest thing I've ever done, because I'm smart enough to have done this in the past, and now that moved me to here.
That's
so
great.
If you can, and now this is clinical with me saying it sounds good on the air. How can I bring it into my life? It's a conscious decision. Being positive is a conscious decision. Negativity is instant. Requires no work at all.
That's right. It's so easy to do. It's so easy. All amazing tips. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience before we depart today?
Just that, tips are only as good as the end user receives them. Because I've had people say, oh, wow, you don't know how you help me. And I say, oh, yes, I do. I didn't know it was you that I was helping.
Ooh, yes.
Because I understand, just as I set it up with the Bible, let me close with that. I understand that I am doing God's work. And each of us, whatever your gift is, whatever industry you're in, first of all, this is where a lot of people are reconsidering, am I in the right industry? They've got some time to do some introspection. Well, once you come to that decision, say, yes, I am, what you've actually just said is, this is my gift. Now, how can I share my gift with the world? Because the one thing that this virus has done is helped us go from at-home incidences, from neighborhood, from community, from state. This is a worldwide incident that helps us all see that we have been connected all along.
All this time.
Yeah, we've been swimming in denial, but we have been connected all along. So let's just remember that it's the now normal, and don't worry about what are you going to do when this is lifted. It's not going to be lifted. It's going to be, what are you going to do now? What did you learn so that you can continue? Because how does it get lifted? Oh, okay, it's May 17th, it's over. May 18th, I can do something different. No, what did I learn up through May 17th that I now have to be more conscious of once I start reconnecting with people physically on the 18th and the 19th and the 30th. So just recognize we're in the now normal and enjoy it. We are very good at change.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I just want to thank you once again, everyone. I'm Tya Bolton. You just had the pleasure of listening to the amazing Sporty King. And we are the 2020 Visionaries, part of that group. And we just want to encourage you to remain calm. We thank you for tuning into our Pandemic Perspective series and hope that you'll watch again. So connect with us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and dive into the conversation. We look forward to hearing your thoughts. Until next time, peace and blessings. Bye.
Amen.